Hello everybody, John here, and today on To The Garage, by popular demand, we're doing another Secret Tooltips. For some tools, I use them all the time, all day, and I spend rather a lot on them just because I really like particular things. So I've got a very expensive ratchet, and that's fine. But there are other tools that you only use once in a blue moon that get you out of a bind. And I want to share some of those tools, which I think are really handy to have in your toolbox, but which you're going to use irregularly. And I'd say just get the best value for money you can. And for that reason, I've teamed up with Teemu for this one. If you've never heard of Teemu before, orange packages are the thing that's going to happen. It's a huge online resource where you can buy everything from a new pair of socks to cleaning products for the home. As somebody in the UK, you're not likely to recognise too many of the brand names that are involved. But as I say, this is about superb value for money. And frankly, some of the prices on some of the products that they offer are hard to believe and understand. And a lot of it is being delivered to you direct from China. And a feature of Teemu is they deliver fast, they deliver free, and they have 90-day returns policy. So as long as you're returning stuff in reasonable time, you can do so. And in the description below this video, I'm going to put a couple of links. If you're not already somebody who's tried out or used Teemu, then follow my links and join yourself up. You can search when you're on Teemu for a particular voucher that's connected with our channel on YouTube and get yourself a set of vouchers which give you huge discounts. And if you're interested in any of the specific tools I'm going to share with you, then if you follow the links in the description below, then Teemu are going to give you some amazing prices, even better than what is displayed on their website against these particular tools. So more on that at the end, but let's see what I've actually got and show you what these tools are all about. And start off with this one, which might look like a really unlikely tool unless you know. An UltraViolet Torch. Now you can get little pen light ones with a tiny beam on them, but for the purposes we're going to put it to, I would recommend getting a better version, one like this, which has an array of lamps and gives a wide flood of light, because an ultraviolet torch can be used to search for all manner of leaks. So if you've got a coolant leak under the bonnet of your car, then using a lamp like this will enable you to search for the source of that leak. And that's because 90% of manufacturers of antifreeze, engine coolant, coolant additives, call them what you want, add an ultraviolet trace in their liquid. So if the coolant has escaped anywhere inside your engine bay, or indeed refrigerant if you're looking at air conditioning system, then it will leave a stain behind, which, though invisible to the naked eye, will show up when you use an ultraviolet torch. So this would be better in a darkened garage, but on my XK8, a popular place for failure is this coolant tank to split and leak. So I just shine my light around it and I don't see anything particularly untoward. And I happen to know that with coolant and refrigerant leaks, they fluoresce a bright yellowy green colour. But if I come around this side, not so long ago I had some work done on my air conditioning system, and I'm hoping you can see this on film as easily as I can. Although it's not leaking, you can plainly see the yellow fluorescence that's coming off where there is still evidence of fluid. And just notice now, looking around, that around the bell housing on my car and on the throttle motor you can see tiny splash marks that indicate at some point there has been a lot of coolant sprayed around there, but looks like it's quite some time ago. It'd never quite been washed off. Fascinatingly, as anybody who's ever been to a nightclub will know, younger folk no doubt, certain substances fluoresce, so the stickers light up in UV light very effectively. But other objects that maybe shouldn't be under the bonnet do. I've had this car for many years and just shining this around now, only because I'm using this torch. Can you see that cable tie fluorescing vividly? I've never noticed that. Just lying there, and I'll be able to fish that out now. I've never seen it, daylight or dark. Often gearbox fluid will have the fluorescent dye in it as well. And you can even use it to see if you've got rodents, because their urine glows really well. So please be aware, whenever you quote prices on YouTube, they're going to be wrong in a few months' time. This was knocked down to £14.99. Why would you spend more on something that you're going to use very occasionally and it either works or it doesn't work? Higher price is not necessarily going to give you any better function. Well done, Teemu. There's a link to that in the description below, as well as all the other tools I'm going to share with you. If you're interested, go have a look, and you'll find you can get them even cheaper, much cheaper. Centre punch is used for marking where you're going to drill a hole. This is known as an automatic or one-handed centre punch. If you've got a conventional centre punch, you've got a workpiece. Sometimes you're trying to hold on to this. You've got the centre punch, which you've got a position where you want to mark, and you've got a hammer, and it's two-handed, three-handed, and you've got to have those things around you. And all you do is place the centre punch on the material that you want to mark, push down firmly, it clicks, and there's your centre mark. This particular one comes with, that's a little hammer that does the work, replacement tips. And if you've got a lot of holes to mark out, it's so much easier to use one of these. While I'm pointing over this way, I'll just show you that the subscribers cars calendar for this year is still on October. And if you want one of the To The Garage 2025 calendars, I think we've only got about 40 left. So get on over to the channel's website and place your name against one of them soon as, else you'll miss out. Now, this is a tool I could have done with a few weeks back when I did a video on changing the rear brakes on my Freelander 2 Land Rover. And this is an impact screwdriver. Comes in a metal box, complete with the accessories, and it's got a 1/2-inch drive socket on there. So you can use this tool to impact drive 1/2-inch square drive sockets and other accessories. There's a little arrow here, which is pointed to L for left. Push it in and turn it over there for right, and that changes which direction the tool will turn when you hit it. You don't have to use the 1/2-inch drive tools though, because this is a adapter. It's got the little band, which means it'll retain those bits. And you now have a tool which you can use to impact drive a straight blade screw slot, or any 8mm hex tool bit, or if you've got your own tool sockets like this one with a pre-mounted T45 drive, you just pop that on. So the way it works is you've got these 14mm nuts and they're seized and you've tried everything, you can't get them to turn, you're worried about rounding them off, you want to try a bit of impact power, but you don't have an expensive impact tool like I've got. You can put your 14mm socket on here, put that on there, and then hold the top and hit the end. And that will undo that nut, because every time you hit it, it's turning that force into a rotation action whilst pushing itself firmly on. It's particularly useful for female heads, so like this Torx one, where you might cam out using some tools. The force of hitting it down into the socket whilst you're trying to undo it might give you that edge. Brilliant little tool. And again, check out the prices in the description below. Really cheap. And this tool might be one that you've never seen before. It's not a common tool. What is this, John? This is what I would call a remote ratchet drive. Essentially, it's got two 3/8 drives on it. And when I turn this one, the other one turns in sympathy. How is this witchcraft achieved, I hear you say? It's a very simple device. It's essentially a chain drive in a case. So it's like a bicycle chain turning 2 gears. Why would I want such a thing? Well, maybe I've got incredibly poor access to an area. And although I could probably get a small ratchet like this into a very similar sized aperture, I don't actually have the space to move the ratchet, or at least not to move it far enough to engage the next position on the pawl. However, with this device, I can put my 3/8 drive on this end, and I've got lots of space up here, and I can turn that very, very easily. Think of trying to get down the front of your engine, down the back of the engine, manifold nuts, bolts on catalytic converters, access to very tricky diff sump plugs. I've not tried it, but the XK has a particularly difficult one. This may enable you to do it. It's just a really handy tool to experiment with and play with. Not the sort of thing I'd want to spend a lot of money on because of infrequent use. But when the need arises, how fabulous to have that in my drawer as a get out of jail free card. And Teemu is a great place to shop for bargain tools and unusual tools to get you out of a pickle. Now this one is one I specifically need in the near future, but again, will probably not use for a very long time thereafter. So I didn't want to spend an awful lot of money. So most of us will be familiar with Torx Bits. Torx Bits are kind of like a star shape instead of an Allen key, and they're denoted T and then a number 27. But what people will rarely see is female Torx Bits. These are sockets with the Torx form on the inside, and it's particularly these smaller ones that I'm interested in, and these are labelled up again of a number, but it's E for external Torx, number 5. Now, where on earth would we find external Torx fittings? They're used in lots of applications where users are not really meant to go. You might find E Torx fittings on electrical devices such as alternators, and you will find them on ABS motors, which is what I'm interested in. So let's go over to the Jag. Now I've got a job coming up. I need to do some work on my ABS motor, and I actually need to remove the control module, which is this black unit here. And so I know that one of the secrets of the XK8 is you rotate the filler neck and you can get it out of the way. And this module is held on to the block or manifold of the ABS motor using external E5 bolts. So with that in place, we can remove the bolts which hold in place our control module and there is our little e-Torx head. Well, I hope you found this interesting, folks. Let us know in the comments below, have you seen all these tools before? Have you got all these tools? And if you haven't got them, as I say, get on over to Teemu, check them out. Great prices, great delivery policies, worth a try. And if you are going to take the plunge and buy something, then check out my links. Don't forget to use the link that's in the description below, paste it into the search of Teemu like it's a product you're looking for, and you'll get all manner of great discounts. And as soon as I'm feeling just a little better, this arm is really giving me some jip, I'll be crawling around under the car doing what you like most. And if you too have got ABS related troubles, then look out for videos coming up soon. Stay subscribed. YouTube, keep unsubscribing people. See you soon, guys.